Burgers? You got cheeseburgers in basic training? Hot dogs?
Go ahead.
Come on. Come on now. I don't think I got to see this stuff until I got to my first unit. I don't even think I got to see this stuff in AIT to have cheeseburgers and hot dogs. Don't tell me that it was hard back in the 80s for basic training.
Load those plates. You'll need the energy.
What's up, my friends? Welcome to a reaction video. You've all heard the stories about how rough it was back in the day. Back in my day, the Army was a lot stronger. The Army was a lot tougher. Basic training was a lot more stricter. All of this stuff we've probably heard many times before. I've done some videos that covered stuff about basic training. I've shown some reaction videos, and there's always at least a couple people that says that, you know, all this stuff's super easy. It was way harder back in my day. Well, guess what? I have some footage here that we're going to check out of Army basic training in the 80s. And we're going to look at it. And we're going to see, is there some things that are really that much harder than it is today? Is there things that are easier than things are today? What was it really like back in the 80s going through Army basic training? I actually have two videos that will jump around and check out different segments of different ones. I will have links in the description box to the full basic training videos if you'd like to check those out maybe after this video. But we have one video that comes from basic training in the 80s at Fort Leonard, and we also have one that comes from basic training at Fort Benton in the 80s as well. I think both of them are possibly in the late 80s, possibly, by the way they make it sound. So we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to see, is it really hard back in those days, or are you guys just trying to be tough? Let's check it out. Starting off with Fort Leonard, let's check this out. Man, some nice soft music.
Fort Leonard Wood. It covers 71,000 acres of the Mark Twain National Forest in the Missouri Ozarks.
Like we're about to watch like a National Geographic, like old school, like documentary or something.
Southwest of St. Louis. It was in December of 1940 that the groundbreaking ceremonies commenced.
It was almost pitch black as we arrived, pretty unnerving. As the bus unloaded and I saw that first drill sergeant standing there, I began to ask myself, what have I done? Is it too late to turn back? Before I could muster another thought, we were inside and learning the position of attention.
By the way, this narrator isn't someone who's actually in basic training, because as you're going to see a little bit later, when we go to the Fort Benning video, it's the exact same narrator. It's like they had the same narrator do all these little basic training videos. I don't know what the deal was.
As we stood at attention, while they played the Star-Spangled Banner, a strange feeling came over me. Pride. I was also struck with a sense of belonging. I had a feeling it was going to be tough, but then again I knew that. But I also knew it would be worth it. I was going to be part of the greatest team around. We were welcomed by the post commander in a videotape presentation. The commander of the videotape told us about the long and proud traditions of the United States Army, and that it is something we should be proud of and that we should uphold the standards of those that came here before.
Really? You're welcomed by the post commander? You know how I was welcomed? Drill sergeants yelling at me. We're already starting off with I'm going to try to compare this to my basic training was harder than your basic training kind of a thing, aren't we?
For us. We were warned about contraband, such as knives, guns, drugs, and nuclear warheads.
Nuclear warheads. I only laugh because when we get to the Fort Benning one, I've only seen parts of this one and parts of the other one, but when we get to the Fort Benning one, they use the exact same joke. Come on now.
They said this would be our last chance to divest ourselves of anything. If we were caught with anything to be considered contraband after tonight, we would face serious consequences.
Serious.
They didn't have to tell me twice.
And you see that sweet transition with the star? Man, editing skills are awesome back in the 80s.
This is immunization. It looks worse than it really is, and it has to be done. The man who we would spend the next 8 weeks with, the man who would shape us into soldiers, our drill sergeant. Oh boy.
You guys got to roll your sleeves up like right away? It wasn't a luxury I got until I think I got to my first unit. Well, maybe there might have been like a training event during basic where it was hot enough that we got to roll our sleeves up. Not right out at the get-go, right away of wearing your uniform. There you go. See, that's nitpicking some stuff, but hey.
One of you people saying R-A, P-R, or N-G without the ma'am, you're mine. You will owe me, and I will collect.
For the next 8 weeks, this man would be our cautioning voice, helpful hand, and watchful eyes that would guide us through probably 8 of the most strenuous and demanding weeks of our lives. This man was to be looked at with admiration.
There is a Coke machine, along with other various items of carbonated soft drinks. You will not, I repeat, you will not even look at it. The fact that one of my people looking at it, you are definitely mine. You will clean up any food that is dropped. You will clean up any mess that is there. Because I don't want to have someone coming over to me and saying, my people left the table with a mess. I will not tolerate it.
There's no, like, yes, drill sergeant, no responses. Everybody's pretty quiet. I don't know, guys. I don't know you old-timers. So far, not looking good for you.
At this time, I want you to put your ID card back. Go to the
No, yes, drill sergeant? Roger, drill sergeant? Something?
bathroom, go to the bathroom. And now you turn into
Put a couple on the top of these socks here.
Yes, sir.
You need to straighten out your undergarments here a little bit, get them a little bit tighter in there. Yes, sir. Otherwise, you got a pretty good wall locker there, Private Del Boss.
Yes, sir.
Where are you from?
Redmond City, California, sir.
Oh, look how nice. We're getting to know each other now.
Carry on.
Burgers? You got cheeseburgers in basic training?
Army food.
Now, come on. I know damn well if you were watching one of the basic training videos that like I was posting like recently or something like that, and we saw soldiers, get me all riled up here, saw soldiers having cheeseburgers. I know there'd be some vets in the comment section to be like, what? Cheeseburgers? Are you freaking kidding me?
Good and good for you. Specially prepared by dietitians that know what you want and need.
For cheeseburgers? Is that cake? Hot dogs?
Go ahead.
Come on. Come on now. I don't think I got to see this stuff until I got to my first unit. I don't even think I got to see this stuff at AIT to have cheeseburgers and hot dogs. Don't tell me that it was hard back in the 80s for basic training.
Load those plates. You'll need the energy.
Hot dogs. I had like pasta and some slop, well, not really necessarily slop, but it was all like pretty healthy food for the most part usually. It wasn't until like towards the end, if you passed your final physical fitness test, that you got to have like fast food style stuff. French fries? McDonald's? Music, man. Oh, that's one of the hardest things right there. Oh man, what is that? I forget what that command is right there that you just did right there. Oh man, that's gonna drive me nuts thinking about it. Someone leave me in the comment section down below. What was the? I'll probably would have known it by now, but still, humor me. Comment down below. What was the command he just gave right there to make them do this crazy cluster freaking thing that usually jacks everybody up?
Our training day is never complete without physical training. On or off the field, our physical fitness is being honed to a razor's edge. You can usually hear us saying, "More PT, Sergeant, more PT."
That is the thing I will give you credit for. Back in the day, it was a little bit more difficult doing physical training because you had to do it in uniform. Apparently, they get to wear like tennis shoes, kind of a thing, running shoes. But nonetheless, they usually had to do physical fitness in the uniform compared to having a physical fitness uniform type of thing with the shorts and the t-shirt. That part, I'll give you that part. That part's a little bit rougher, a little bit more annoying, I guess.
Sunday was a time for reflection for all as we attended church services.
Or clean the hell out of the barracks. One or the other.
Bless the Lord, my soul. Every fiber is holy name. Bless the Lord, my soul. Never forget all his goodness.
After, we moved in different directions. For some, it was the telephone. Time to call home, talk to mom and dad. And
See? Still got time to talk on phones back in those days. I know there's some vets I'll see like on some of those videos about phone calls. We didn't get no phone calls. You did. It was a lot more pain in the ass. You had to use the payphones and stand in line to use the payphones, but nonetheless, still had payphones. Still had phones.
even my little brother. Others wrote letters. Dear Aubrey, thanks for the picture. Later on, for those of us that had a pass, that was a privilege you had to earn. We could visit the main PX, where everything you ever thought of was for sale.
Why did they get to go to the PX in the middle of basic training? Even like, so when I went through basic training back in my day, I didn't get to go to the PX. I mean, we had like the very last day after graduation where you could go to the PX if you really wanted to, right? You got some family time and everything else like that. This doesn't make it sound like this is after basic training's graduation. So it looks like basic training is still going on, and you got an opportunity during basic training to go to the PX. I didn't get that. Did any of you guys get that? Did you guys get to go to the PX? Other than outside of at the end at family day? By the way, if I did get to go to the PX, I would have to be in Class A's. That's how it was in AIT. AIT, we did get chances to go to the PX, but we had to get into our Class A's to go do so. What's this?
Then Walker Recreation Center, where a guy could shoot a game of pool, play some ping pong.
We're at freaking summer camp. I never once got to play ping pong, or nor did I ever have the opportunity to play ping pong if I desired to play ping pong in a rec center during basic training. I don't know. I'm going to start questioning you guys, you old school veterans out there, when you guys start giving me crap about, like, back in my day, it was much tougher. I don't know. So far, it's not looking so good. So far, this is Fort Leonard, so I'll give you, maybe if you're like, oh, well, I went to Fort Benning. Well, we're going to see Fort Benning here in a minute.
Even play a little music. Just sit around and listen to some records.
Bowling,
Then
playing
there's
music.
bowling, the sport of kings.
Would have much rather gone to this basic training. See, because now we're at weapons qualification. So that was happening there is, unless like for whatever reason this whole thing is all out of sequence and everything, that was somewhere's like on a weekend, somewhere's in the middle of basic training that they got to do that cool stuff. And now here we are at rifle marksmanship.
Back to work. The Zero Rifle Range. Here we learn to sight in our weapons by firing a few rounds. Then our targets are checked by our drill sergeants, and then together we adjust the sights for maximum efficiency and firing power.
Hold left, right, down, hold left.
Yeah, that old school LBE that I always hated. I think it was a pain in the ass. Let's go ahead and let's switch over to Fort Benning, I feel like. So we got a chance to kind of see, I guess, some of that, right, from the 80s. Fort Leonard. So some of you may be like, well, I went to Fort Benning, it was a lot more hardcore. Well, we're about to look at it, and we're going to see. We're going to see if the Fort Benning footage, this one says from 1988, and see if it was hardcore. If it was more hardcore than that Fort Leonard would. Because so far, I would have rather gone to basic training than that one. That one looked way easier than what I had to go through. So, but still chance that maybe Fort Benning, that's where I went to, but I went there in 99. So this was, about 10 years earlier, for me. So let's see if Fort Benning is able to redeem some of you old school veterans that talk so highly about how much harder basic training was back in your day.
Then my next reaction was, I wonder if it's too late to turn back. Before I could answer my own question, the bus was coming to a stop, and we were getting ready to unload.
Notice it's the same narrator, by the way, as the last video.
This was my first sensation that we were really here. When we saw that sign, it was like entering another world. No turning back. As the bus...
See, they're just like casually walking into the building. Again, I'm purposely criticizing you old school guys because you guys criticize the hell out of me for some of the ways that some of the things I talk about in some of the videos talking about how it's harder back in your day. But here, just casually strolling into the building. I remember being greeted by drill sergeants, even when we first showed up to reception, and we had to get into a makeshift formation. We didn't know how to get in formation, but we had to get into a makeshift formation outside.
Bus unloaded and we filed into Johnston Hall. My heart began to beat a little faster. The sergeant explained the amnesty rooms to us. This was our only chance to divest ourselves of any contraband, from illegal substances to a nuclear warhead, and nobody would say a word.
See? Same joke.
Just drop it into a slot in the wall and forget it. We all took a turn even if we had nothing to throw away. After this, we would get a hot meal and then go mercifully to bed.
I do remember that. I remember we had a room too, just like that, I think it was, where you had to go in there, and everybody had to go in there, even if you had nothing. And if you didn't have anything, well, then you just went in there for a couple seconds and left.
Infantry training and move out.
Down.
That's right, you guessed it, shots.
That's okay. So that part's kind of rough, right? Those the old school gun, getting the shot and everything like that, and they kind of got rid of that because it could. Well, for one, you're using the same thing over and over again on the same person. I think I don't know if it somehow sterilized. I don't know, but the main thing was too is like it could have the possibility of what like injecting you with some air that could cause like a blood clot or cause oxygen inside your veins. I don't remember what the deal was, but I remember those things got done away with after a while, and then they just went to the old school needle. Share needles, guys. Share
Right
needles.
between the eyes.
But we know there's something.
At this time,
So I don't see anything at the beginning here for like the shark attack. So possibly your shark attack might have been harder than ours because I don't have the evidence to prove otherwise. So maybe I'll give you that. I'm still thinking about those cheeseburgers you had in the defect though. Continue on.
Hey, Sergeant Osborne been in mess hall. He starts choking. He's got something stuck in his throat.
Like a cheeseburger?
You'll observe that he has placed his hands up at his throat. This is the universally recognized sign of a conscious choking casualty.
Damn, what kind of tripwire? Oh, chow all the time.
After a hard day of blowing up the countryside, a guy gets good and hungry, and there's nothing like army chow to fill you up. While most of us are busy eating, some guys have the privilege of KP. Did I say privilege?
Those French fries and hot dogs? Again, I don't know about this. This is Benning now. I didn't get French fries and hot dogs at Benning. Ice cream?
Over in the 1st Brigade, the same thing is going on. Hungry men chowing down.
See, this is more like food that we got right here. Like this is your average food that was probably healthy and good for you kind of a thing. Not cheeseburgers and hot dogs. guy's still doing a lot of looking around. We were not allowed to do any looking around. We could only look at our food. I will say that is definitely different, probably. More relaxed on that, probably, back then.
The gospel lays out a beautiful plan how to live life. It doesn't matter.
What are we doing?
Nothing like a good game of basketball to get the juices flowing.
Okay, at least it's a good workout. Nope. Having a good time.
Some of
playing
us
pool.
shot pool, while others played football. Then, there are those who like the gym.
Got to go to the gym? I didn't get to see a gym until, I don't even think AIT. It wasn't until my first unit. Gym was off limits for trainees. These guys having a great time cycling, working out.
Some guys like the quieter things.
We did get to write letters, so we did get to still do that.
Thanks for the cookies, Mom.
You better not get cookies. Should have got taken away.
If it was your girl you wanted to talk to, you had to start early. Look at this line. Road marches. Sore feet, aching shoulders, arms that feel like lead. This is what occurs to the soldiers who withstand the grueling 10-miler, 12-miler, and the never seems to end 15-miler. Anyone who completes these road marches can stand tall and proud of his accomplishments.
I actually like road marching. I still like road marching still. That's kind of one of the workout things I enjoy doing, so I love road marching. I remember this training. I totally forgot about this. This is the training you would do for how to supposedly kind of prepare for a nuclear explosion. Wherever the flash came from, you had to face in that direction, lay on your weapon. Your weapon would go kind of like diagonal across your body with your hands kind of between your legs. Basically to kiss your ass goodbye, I guess, whatever, I don't know. And then keep your head down, kind of a thing. This was a thing that we would do. I remember this. This is funny. I really doubt that would protect you from a nuclear blast, though. I feel like you'd be done for. I don't know, though. I'm not an expert on that, but my opinion, I don't know if that's gonna save you in the event of a nuclear blast. Maybe. Oh.
If not, stop falling. What are you going to do?
Oh, that's good. They're running into the group with CS canisters. I didn't go through that, so give that to you. That looks like looks a little tougher than I had to go through with that part. Good times though. That's good stuff. That's a lot of CS too. Good. I'll give that to you. That right there seems way more hardcore, more harder than what I had to go through with CS. I just did the CS chamber and that's it. I didn't have to experience it this way. Not in basic anyways. I would in the field and stuff like that during other training environments, but not during basic.
That's lovely stuff, boy.
That shit will fuck you up.
Well. All right, so there you go. Basic training from the late 80s. If by any chance, like any of you guys out there watching this, like saw yourself in here, maybe some old school veterans, love to hear that down in the comments. That'd be hilarious. That'd be awesome. My impression, from watching it, there's different aspects that seem about the same as it was when I went through basic training and some of the things that I currently see soldiers go through. I think my biggest thing is the food in the chow hall. The food in the chow hall is probably the biggest one that stands out. There's some little nitpicky things here and there that I could probably nitpick at, but that cheeseburgers and hot dogs, I mean, granted, that was at Fort Leonard. So if maybe you went to Fort Benton, maybe you, like me, didn't get that kind of stuff, and maybe the other places did get burgers and hot dogs, but that was the biggest thing that kind of stands out to me. We didn't get a chance to see the shark attack. I would have liked to have seen the shark attack to see what their shark attack was like compared to like mine, and compared to, you know, even how they replaced the shark attack with the 100-mile thing, or where the 100-yard thing. So we didn't get to really kind of see that in this video, but nonetheless, nothing super extreme to where I was like, holy crap, basic training was rough back then. I'm not seeing that. I'm sorry, you're old school guys. You're gonna argue with me in the comments. I know it, but I'm really not seeing anything in here that was like, holy crap, you guys had it rough back then. No, there was little things here and there that maybe had it harder. Some things you had it easier. Same when you probably watch mine. You probably see some things where I had it harder, some things where I had it easier. So it's like a give and take here and there with certain other things, I feel like. But hey, what do you guys think? I want to hear some comments down below. Do you think it looks like it was harder back in those days, easier? What are your thoughts kind of there? If you want to see my Army basic training video, I did a reaction to it. I got available to you right here. If you want to check out some more of my content, I recommend checking out this video. Links in the description box, so check out these videos, check out my social media, all that fun stuff. Like the video. I'm Christopher Chaos. I'll see you next time. See ya.